Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Daniel with H+T+C Knowledge to Progress, episode 8. Welcome everyone. How is everyone doing today? Yes, today is a great day today. So, episode 8. Looking forward to this episode. And today I want to go ahead and talk about connection. So for today's quote, it comes from an author, a professor, a writer, podcaster, but most importantly, she's from San Antonio, Texas. So I want to go ahead and use a quote that she said that pertained to connection. And that was, connection is the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. When they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. So this quote is full of things that I want to go ahead and talk about pertaining to connection. When we want to connect with others, the first thing that we need to do in order to build a relationship, that's being honest with one another. We need to be honest. We got to be honest with ourselves. We got to be honest with the person that you're trying to build that relationship with. It's important. Honesty is the first step to building that relationship, because without honesty, there's no trust. The way I see it is that in order to be honest with someone, you got to be honest with yourself first. And that's the first step. Got to be honest with you. Because if you can't be honest, well then there's no growth. You got to look at the mirror and you got to be honest with yourself. Where am I right now? Am I struggling? Do I need help? Because a lot of times we tend to be prideful, right? We tend to not want to ask for help. We feel that it is our responsibility to get to the finish line. But I got news. It takes a team. It takes a brotherhood, sisterhood to be able to help one another. And we need to be honest with ourselves if we can't get there on our own. We have to. That's what we talk about when we talk about honesty. I'm not talking about, telling a simple lie. Yes, though that is important. But I'm talking about when you're trying to build that connection with others. Am I doing well? I'm doing okay. Oh, I'm great. You're putting on that mask. You're not being honest with yourself. You're not being honest with those that love you. Now, the second step to get to that relationship is trust. Yes, obviously we've heard this before. We've heard about trust. Trust takes effort. It takes effort to get to that point. You could say, I trust you. Yes, I trust you. But do I really trust you? That was something that I recently heard from some of my mentors and leaders. They've been talking about how us as individuals, we always say, I trust you with my life. But do I really trust you with my life? And what does that mean? Well, when I was in the military, I would defend the foxhole with my brother next to me. I got your back. I trust you with my life. You got my back, I got your back. But then we go home and then I ask, or someone asks me, am I okay? And there's all kinds of things going on in my life, struggles, and you have the answer to say, oh, I'm okay. Oh, I'm good. But am I good? So that's what I'm talking about. I trust you with my life, but do I really trust you with my life when I'm dealing with something inside? It's just something to think about. And when we talk about trust, that's what that is. But like the quote says, when they can give and receive without judgment. In order for me to trust you, I need to know that I'm not going to be judged. So that's where the two sides need to meet. I need to trust you that you're not going to have any judgment pertaining to what I'm going through. I'm not going to have any judgment. You're not going to have any judgment. We're going to trust each other. And we understand one another, that we're trying to help each other. And that's what we talk about pertaining to trust. So what's next? Trying to get that relationship right. So we got honesty both ways. You got trust both ways. The next one after trust comes connection. Obviously you're honest with me. I'm honest with you. I trust you. You trust me. This is where we start gaining that connection, because I'm being vulnerable. I'm allowing you to come into my world. I'm allowing you to go into that door where I don't let others in, based off of that honesty, based off of that trust that we have for one another. And that's where that connection begins. And connecting is important, because that's where we talk about when we feel seen, we feel heard, we feel valued. Because when we're seen, We're not being ignored. We're being heard. Someone's hearing our stories. I'm sharing my story with them. And I feel valued because someone's paying attention to me. Someone is giving their time and energy for me. And time is valuable. Time is valuable, everyone. As simple as it may be, as minuscule as we might think time is, it's not. We don't have infinity amount of minutes, hours, days. I'm not trying to turn it into a gloomy moment, but we don't live forever. And time is precious. So when you give that time to someone by hearing their story, that makes them feel valuable. That makes me feel valuable. For someone to be hearing my podcast right now, it makes me feel valued. And that's what we talk about. That's where we start creating those connections with one another. But like I said, it starts with honesty, trust, and then we build that connection. And then once we build that connection, guess what? It's that relationship happens. That brotherhood, sisterhood. So with that said, I wanted to go ahead and share a few words from Tom Brady. Now, I know there's a lot of Patriot fans and not so Patriot fans out there. Tampa Bay or not so Tampa Bay, but it's not about football. He had an interview and he spoke about the relationships that he had with his teammates. And I want to go ahead and play this sound bit because it's important to the subject. Pretty much everything I spoke about, he referenced it in his interview. So I want to go ahead and play that for you right now.
In terms of leadership is how you relate to the people that you work with. And my vision of a relationship comes down to one word: caring. Do you care about the other person? And do you collectively care about what you're trying to achieve? The only way people are going to feel that they can trust you is if you care about them. So if you just see them as a transactional relationship, oh, you're just here for this time being, or, well, that's all they're going to give you. But I felt like I need to connect. Especially as I got older, I got to connect with the young players. I need a relationship. I need the ability to relate to them. They need to trust me. I need to trust them. We need to be vulnerable to one another. I need to care for them.
So again, a lot of things that he said are based off of what I had said in reference to trusting, caring, right? Relationship, connecting. It's important. Every single one, in order to build that relationship, in order to relate, like he said. And the one thing that I will say is being vulnerable. He said that. That was the last thing he said. Being vulnerable. Now, obviously, you're not going to be vulnerable if you don't trust someone. So that's where that trust comes. But when you connect with someone, that's when that vulnerability begins. Yeah, you got to be honest, for sure. But a lot of times people have to get to that point in order to have that vulnerability. They got to first know that people are being honest with them. That's what's going to open up that relationship. Because if you're being vulnerable with me, then I'm going to be vulnerable with you. So it's important. It's important to understand how to build that relationship with others. For me, if I don't understand something, I don't know where to start. But when I know something, I'm now able to focus on that and be able to start from that point. And that's why I want to create this episode pertaining to connection. Because my hope is that someone out there is looking to find a way to build that relationship with someone. I want to make sure that everyone out there understands where to start from if you're trying to build that relationship with someone. And like in everything, it takes effort. It takes work. You got to get out there and you got to do the work. You got to be honest. You got to be trustful. You got to connect, create that relationship. And then opportunities will open up for you. That's how you do it. So another thing I want to kind of emphasize when you're making these connections, I want people to understand that opportunities will open up when you build these relationships, these friendships. They'll open up. And when those opportunities open up, you start having a great time with those individuals, enjoying some moments. I highly recommend that you enjoy those moments because, like everything, time goes by. And someday those moments are going to become memories. And it's important to live in the moment. And I want to go ahead and share a quick soundbite from one of my favorite shows, The Office, when Andy says something in the season finale. And he says,
The weird thing is, now I'm exactly where I want to be. I got my dream job at Cornell, and I'm still just thinking about my old pals. Only now they're the ones I made here. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
yeah. You know, we talk about this a lot. We think about these things. We reminisce about these memories. The good old days. Back in the day, we used to hang out in a group, have fun, tell stories, just laugh. If you're having those times now, if you're going through that time where you have an opportunity to hang out with your friends, your family members, maybe you're having a card game every Friday with your friends, or maybe you're having game night every Friday, enjoy those moments. Enjoy them. Because like Andy said in The Office, he wishes he knew when those moments were happening. And that's why I say, be where your feet are at and enjoy the moments right now. Well, I appreciate everyone for joining me on this episode. Thank you for your time. Thank you everyone for your continued support. Please don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, H+T+C Campsite as well. But again, thank you everyone. Until our next episode, I catch you on the flip side.